Alright guys, ZFR Gaming back here again today, and this is my review for episode 610 of The Walking Dead, The Next World. And oh my god guys, like listen, a lot of people are about to judge me on what I was about to say, but I like this episode better than the last one. The last one was awesome and everything, don't get me wrong. But I definitely think I like this one better. I like the character stories, and this one still had at least some sort of action, but just not nearly as much as the last one. But God, it was still awesome, man. Oh my goodness. So much freaking happened in this episode. I was expecting this episode to be a little bit smaller, but it actually turned out to be a pretty big episode too. They just found a couple ways just to make it big. Now, earlier today I did a predictions video. Feel free to go back and watch that if you haven't, to see what I thought was going to happen and stuff. But I was right on some of the things I said, and on some of them I was definitely wrong. For instance, one of the well, I'm not gonna go into that right now, but well, actually, yeah, I will go into it in a second. But pretty much, the episode starts off with Rick putting his watch and stuff on and his belt, and we see Judith playing on the ground there in the house and stuff. And then you see Masson, looks like she just got out of the shower. She's wrapped up in a towel and robe and all that. And then, boom, you see Carl, like, right there at the beginning of the episode. So that's one thing I was wrong about my predictions. I thought it was only going to skip ahead, like, I don't know, 2 weeks to a month or something like that, with the time skip. So I thought Carl would still be in his coma, but no, they straight off the bat like had him there. So it looks like this episode is actually, I don't know, I'll say a like over a month or probably even around 2 months after the past episode, because it definitely looks like a decent amount of time has passed since No Way Out. But yeah, like, freak me guys. So yeah, Carl, he's up and going again, good as new. He's rocking the eye bandits and stuff, and yeah, pretty much we see that, and we see Rick and Daryl getting ready to go out for a supply run. We see Denise asks Daryl to bring her some soda because he wants to surprise Tara with some, because you know Denise and Tara, they're officially a thing now in the show, which is awesome. Another relationship going on, and pretty much so they get ready to head out, and they have the whole little conversation with Eugene at the fence. They get the list on stuff they need and all that for the supply run. They head out, you know, and we also see Enid in the last episode. Well, in the last video I did about The Walking Dead, I predicted that Enid in this episode was going to be, you know, kind of waiting for Carl to wake up or something. Probably like, you know, sitting at his bedside or something like that, or just wandering around. But you know, he's already up, so like, freak. Like, her and Carl actually. Well, actually, she had a conversation with Maggie in the beginning. Maggie was asking where she's been and stuff, because, you know, Enid, like, she disappears into the woods sometimes, and, like, she's still doing that, like, where she goes outside the walls and goes into the woods for a while. But now, in this episode, we find out that now she's not doing it alone. Now, Carl is also going with her, and Carl is even liking it out there a little more. It's become a regular thing for him too. But going back to Rick and Daryl, so they're going on their supply run, and right off the bat they find a huge, well, first, like, they have this episode had a good amount of comedy in it. I actually really like the amount of comedy in this episode. But yeah, like, you see Rick and Daryl, they find like a huge truck full of supplies, like right off the bat. Like as soon as they open, it has a bunch of canned foods and water and crates and all that full of supplies. So yeah, it's like a gold mine for them. And pretty much they leave the car that they drove there in, and they start driving back, and Daryl remembers the soda for Denise that she asked him to bring back for Tara. So they stop at a gas station, and he's trying to get the soda machine open, but they can't do it like by hand. So they attach it, they chain it to the truck, and they pull it over, and he's getting ready to go in it when out of nowhere, boom, Jesus appears out of nowhere and just bumps straight into Daryl. And they instantly point their guns at him. And before anybody says something, no, I'm not talking about Jesus like the Son of God and everything. Not that Jesus. I'm talking about Paul. I totally forgot his last name, but because it definitely was different than what I heard, or I feel like it's different from in the comics, but I might be wrong. But yeah, pretty much his real name's Paul, but people call him Jesus because he looks like Jesus, or at least what people would think Jesus would look like. But yeah, pretty much they bump into him very early in the episode. I was not expecting to see him that early. I was expecting him to kind of be towards the end of the episode, but no, they bump into him right away. And they kind of have this exchange where they ask him if he has a group, he asks them if they have a group. They both lie and say no, because we all know, if you've read the comics, Paul, or in other words, Jesus does have a group called the Hilltop, and that we'll see that in the next episode, looks like. But yeah, pretty much. They bump into him, and it's just kind of like a friendly exchange. They say a few words, and then they're off. Then Jesus is off. He tells them a couple walkers are on the way. They'll be there in about 7 minutes or 11 minutes or something like that. And then they hear a bunch of it sounds like gunshots going off behind the gas station. And so Daryl and Rick, they run back there to check it out, and it's firecrackers in a barrel. And when they run back to the front, Jesus is stealing the truck full of supplies, and he actually dragged off the soda machine with it, because it was still attached to the truck. And so yeah, he steals their truck, and Daryl and Rick just instantly start running after him. But he's way ahead of them by this point, because he's got a truck there on foot. And going back to Alexandria, you get the whole thing with Masson. CC's Spencer heading into the woods off by himself, so she follows him in there to kind of see, and she has this conversation with him, and he kind of tries to get her to leave, but she goes with him anyway, and she tells him how her mom wanted her to find what makes her happy, or find what she wants in life or whatever, and she's like, I want to find out why you're in the woods and all that. So she goes with him, and they go do that whole little scene in the woods. And then skipping back over to Carl and Enid, who are out in the woods just hanging out, reading books and stuff, looks like. Yeah, pretty much, they hear, they're talking for a while. I can't remember about what, just some random stuff. And then they hear a noise, and they get up and get ready to go, and it just turns out to be Spencer and Masson walking through the woods. They don't spot them, but Carl and Enid see them, and they just let them pass, because really nobody knows Carl and Enid are going out into the woods here. It's actually something that they probably shouldn't be doing. The others probably wouldn't be okay with them doing that. But yeah, after Spencer and Masson pass, Enid pretty much tells Carl she doesn't want to go out there anymore. She doesn't want to go out into the woods anymore. The kind, escape back out there, because you know the whole point of them going back out there, at least from what they said in past episodes, is for them to not forget, not forget what it means to survive outside the walls. And Enid says she doesn't want to do this anymore. She pretty much, I guess, wants to stay in the walls from now on, or just like only come out like when it's necessary. And I don't know, like, Carl, he seems a little upset about this. And you gotta realize Carl does have the whole thing with his eye going on. Now, if I'm correct, it's possible for him to have gotten some sort of brain damage from that. Or like if it damaged any part of his brain, like, it could totally, change up, like, how he acts or his personality or stuff, because the brain controls that kind of stuff. But it did, when he got shot, it didn't seem like it hit his head in a way where it would damage his brain like that. So I don't know, I guess he was just a little upset for like whatever reason, because who knows, maybe he looked at that as like their special time or whatever, and she doesn't want to do it anymore. So it's like whatever, like, and he's like, whatever, we can go back. And they're on their way back. Well, should I go from here? I'll go back to Rick and Daryl. Alright, so Rick and Daryl, they actually managed to track Jesus down with the truck. They catch him stopping to check the locks and check the supplies and stuff. And pretty much they sneak up on him, and for whatever reason, they just don't run in there and point the guns at him, like just hop out of the woods and point the guns straight at him and tell him to back off once again. But this time they actually Rick tries to put him in a chokehold. But like I said in my last video, Jesus is a martial arts expert in a way. So yeah, he totally puts the moves on both of them, and he almost gets them. But Rick manages to tackle him, and they pull the guns on him again, and pretty much they tie him up, they just tie him up where he can still get out, but he won't be able to get out for like a couple minutes. He'll have to try for a couple minutes where he can get out, and they drive off, and just leave him there. And pretty much skipping back over to Carl and Enid. I know we just came from them, but I just trying to keep everything in order here. Skipping back over to them, pretty much they run into a walker in the woods, and Carl wants to go take care of it, but Enid doesn't, and pretty much Enid's like, let's just leave it, and Carl's like, no, Masson and Spencer out here, we're not going to leave it out here, less risk and all that. And he's in that mindset until he gets a little closer and actually sees the walker, and this walker actually turns out to be Deanna. In case you don't remember who Deanna is, as in Spencer's mom, the leader of Alexandria, before Rick and the group got there and took over, pretty much the lady who died at the end of episode 608. Yeah, so she's pretty much out there and she's a walker now, and it's I kind of like the reaction from Carl and Enid. Like, they both have different reactions from it. It's like they completely switch their mindsets. Like, their mindsets both switch instantly. Now Enid wants to kill it because she's like, it shouldn't be alive, and Carl's like, no, you can't, because Carl, he's been through a lot. Of course, who I'm talking about here is, I'm talking about Sophia and his mom. That pretty much happened like twice to him. Well, he didn't put Sophia down, but he had to watch her die like that. Rick put her down, but pretty much his mom, yeah, he had to put her down. She wasn't even a walker, so he's kind of in this mindset. It should be somebody who means a lot to her, or somebody who she means a lot to. In other words, probably somebody like Spencer. So he kind of yells at Eden, like he's like she wants to kill, and he's like, no, you wouldn't understand. You want to go back anyway, just go, get out of here. And she's kind of just like, whatever, dude. And she just heads back to Alexandria, and he starts to go back soon after her. And switching back over to Rick, Daryl, and just Rick and Daryl right now. So they're driving with the truck full of supplies. They just got back from Jesus, and they see a barn, and they want to check the barn out because probably has some good stuff in there. Oh, and I've totally forgot to mention, like, when Jesus stole the truck earlier, the soda machine attached to it came loose and fell in the road. So Dale and Rick, they actually did manage to get the sodas, a couple of sodas out of it, and they managed to get a couple snack bars. But the cans were busted, so the sodas were leaking. So they kind of it was something they had to get back with fast if they actually want to salvage it in any type of way. But like, yeah, that's not really a big detail, even though it kind of was a funny part to see them stop and take a soda break, like they both were drinking soda and stuff. But yeah, like pretty much later on, after they got the truck back from Jesus, they're driving up to the barn, and they hear something on the roof, and Daryl's like, I think this guy's seriously on the roof right now. So Rick hits the brakes hard, and Jesus just flies off the roof in front of the truck and lands on the ground in front of them. And like he kind of stands up, and they look at each other for a while, and the epic like the funny music's playing and all that, and like Jesus is instantly he kind of like bows his head, like he knows he's gotta run, and he just takes off, and they chase him down a little bit with the truck, and Dale jumps out. Dale's bobbing and weaving trying to get him. Rick parks the truck and gets out because there's a couple of walkers hanging over, and they're trying to get him. And Dale actually ends up pinning Jesus in the driver's seat of the truck, because they had, like, he tried to get back in the truck, Jesus, but Daryl managed to get there right behind him and kind of pinned him in there. And a walker's walking up behind Daryl, and out of nowhere, Jesus pulls out a revolver, points at Daryl, and he tells Daryl to duck. So Daryl ducks, and boom, Jesus shoots the walker and saves Daryl's life. And Daryl's like, thanks, and then just knocks Jesus out cold. It's like, holy crap, awesome. But then it gets worse. As Daryl's pulling Jesus out of the truck, like he pulls, like, I forget what it's called, the Parker's brake or something, or I totally forgot. I don't know how I forgot that, but like I can't think of it right now. But you know what I'm talking. He pulls the little brake thing or whatever, and the truck goes backwards into the lake, into this lake that just what happened to be there. And I was just like, oh man, they just lost all the supplies. And I don't know, I guess the truck runs Jesus over a little bit while it's rolling off into the lake. Because Dale drops him, like they both fall out of the truck. I guess it runs him over and knocks him out, because he's unconscious after that. And Rick and Dale pretty much decide to take him back to Alexandria, and they pretty much go back and find the car that they had earlier, but they left it back there when they found the truck. So they pretty much go back to that and head back to Alexandria. Now back to Masson and Spencer finally. So pretty much they're walking through the woods, and Masson sees Carl running from Deanna, and that's when she realizes why Spencer is out there. And he go, and Deanna's walking up to them. Like Carl didn't see them, but he just kept running. But Deanna like kind of split off and started coming towards them. And Masson pretty much holds her down to let Spencer get the final blow, and he does. So yeah, like Deanna's finally dead. She's at peace, or however you want to say it. and they bury her, and Masone tells him they're all family now, that he's not alone, and he still has a home, and he has to remember that and all that good stuff. And they head back after that, after burying her, which was pretty peaceful moment. And then once they get back, Masone kind of confronts Carl about going out into the woods when he really wasn't supposed to, and then she confronts him about not killing Deanna, because she was like, why couldn't you do it? Why'd you run from her? And he pretty much says, because like I said earlier, he pretty much says it should have been someone who meant a lot to her, or someone that she meant a lot to, and he said, I would do it for you. And he pretty much gives Masone a hug or whatever, because Masone's basically like his replacement mom, or his stepmom at this point. Like, she's the closest thing he has, so yeah. And then Rick and Daryl get back, and they take Jesus to the infirmary, and Denise comes to the door, and Daryl tells her the thing with the soda didn't work out, and it's this guy's fault. So they patch or fix Jesus up, and he's still unconscious, and they leave him in a room to rest or whatever. And then Rick goes back over to the house, and he just sits on a couch, and Masone comes in, she sits down next to him, and they're just talking, kind of telling each other they both had crazy days, and they don't really want to talk about it or whatever. And then Rick goes to drop his hand down or something like that, and it lands on top of Masone's hand, and holy crap, Rickasone, guys, like, out of nowhere, definitely the biggest part of the episode. I can tell you right now, a lot of people did not see that coming. I'm telling you, I didn't see that coming. I was like, holy crap, they just found a way to make this episode huge. And, it's so nice to finally see Rick find somebody, because, it's just been a struggle for him when it comes to finding somebody. Freaking Lori, nobody likes Lori. We already know why. Then there was freaking Jesse last episode. He lost her. And now he's finally got Masone. And the good thing about this is Masone, we know she's going to be around, forever, basically. If they, as long as they stick to the comics in somewhat of a fashion, Masone's not going anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, it was awesome to see them hook up, and I mean they hooked up because the ending scene was them in bed together, and then you hear someone calling Rick's name, and I thought it was Daryl at first, because it kind of sounded like Daryl, but then they both get up butt naked, and Rick points his gun at him, and Masone has her katana, and it's actually Jesus, and he's like, we should talk or whatever. And that's pretty much the end of the episode, guys. I thought this was a great episode of AMC's The Walking Dead. In my opinion, it was even better than No Way Out. I know a lot of people won't agree with me on that, and I totally understand why, but I'm the kind of person, I don't mind the lighthearted episodes that have a good mix of comedy, some action, and a little bit of everything, even some romance and stuff in there. I thought this episode was pretty darn awesome in itself. I'm really happy with this episode. It seems like they're not slowing down at all right now, so that's awesome. But anyway, guys, tell me what you guys thought of the episode. Tell me if you guys liked it, if you didn't, and how you felt about it in general, basically. And man, this video turned out to be a lot longer. Also, like I said, I thought this episode was going to be a little bit smaller, but it turned out not to be. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave likes and comments down below and tell me what you guys think of it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on the next video. ZFR out, guys.